Hey everybody, Michelle from the library here to tell you about Young Readers' Choice Awards. So some of you may remember last year, myself and another staff member got to come into the schools, but COVID says no thank you to that. So you get to watch us on the big screen like movie stars. Whoa. Some of your teachers may be making you watch this, but I promise you, you will be entertained and you will laugh. You probably, hopefully, won't cry. That would be horrible. So Young Readers' Choice Awards was set up and started in 1940 by Harry Hartman. No relation, unfortunately. That's too bad. He was a Seattle bookseller, and he wanted kids to be able to pick their own books to win awards. So YRCA is sponsored by the Pacific Northwest Library Association, and it is the longest-running international Children's Book Award, having participants from both the United States and Canada. So, which is totally awesome, right? So basically you guys read the books, either all of them, some of them, whatever, and then you vote, right? And it's great. And then ta-da, there's prizes. There are 3 different categories. There's junior, which is basically grades 4 to 6. And then there is intermediate, which is grades 7 to 9. And then there's senior, which is grade 10 to 12. So we have a couple of different videos that we will send out and with links for them, and we will get started. So we hope you enjoy them, and you can call us with your votes. Hey there. Okay, so here we are for the senior division. So these books are geared towards grade 10 to 12. There are some heavier, more serious books in this section, but still, again, great reads. So these books have podcasts, trying to find a killer, which is kind of scary. It's too scary for me. I didn't read that one. Somebody else did. We have a book that takes place 1 year after 9/11. We have a book that says California has run out of water. What? We have books about survival. We have a book about a cruel prince in fairyland. One of my favorites. We have A Kingdom of Magic and Raising the Dead. We also have a book about lies and how they impact our lives. And then we have a book which is totally appropriate and is going to teach everyone how to stay 5 feet apart. Unlike us, we have to stay 6 feet apart. So happy reading, and here we go.
Hi, Other Michelle here, and I'm going to talk to you about the book Sadie by Courtney Summers. Sadie is on the run. She's 19 years old, and she's looking for her little sister's killer. At the same time, a radio personality named Wes McCrae learns about Sadie and starts a podcast to help find her. The problem is, Wes McCrae and his podcast are always one step behind Sadie. This book has a bit of violence in it, just to warn you, but it's a really great read. It's an interesting way that it's written, because one chapter will be about in Sadie's voice, and the next chapter will be Wes McCrae's podcast. So the podcast really helps to fill in some of the blanks of what Sadie's doing on her travels to find her little sister's killer. There's also a bonus that if you look this book up online at the publisher, you can actually listen to the real podcast. Anyway, it's a great book. You'll really enjoy it. Read it.
Hey, Katie here. Just wanted to tell you about another book. It is called I Am Still Alive by Kate Alice Marshall. It's about a girl named Jess, and after tragically losing her mother, she's sent to live with her dad in the Canadian wilderness off-grid. So it's a pretty good story about brutal survival, and some things happen, and she is left on her own with nobody but her dad's dog. So she has to struggle through and survive the Canadian wilderness. So there are definitely some very dark and heavy parts in this book, but it's a pretty good read all around. So yeah.
Hi, it's Angie. Let me tell you about a great book I've just read, 5 Feet Apart by Rachel Lippincott. This book really hit home for me, with everyone having to social distance right now. But this is about 2 teens with cystic fibrosis that meet at a hospital. It explores the hopes, dreams, and struggles of dealing with a really tough lung disease, and the challenges they face in their own ways. What I loved about this book is that it shows how each individual and their families cope with having an ill family member, and how precious really life just is. They've also made this book into a movie. It's a great book. It's filled with hope, fear, love, and most of all, perseverance. I hope you enjoy it.
Hey everybody, Michelle here. So imagine you're 7 years old and you and your sisters get swept away and, well, stolen and sent to fairyland. Can you imagine it? First of all, it would be pretty cool because I bet you it's very magical and beautiful there. So if you can't imagine it, then I suggest you read The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. It is the first in a trilogy, and it is amazing. It is about Jude and her two sisters. They get stolen when Jude is 7, and then the book kind of picks back up when she's 17, and she doesn't fit in, right? The fairies have magic. They can glamour themselves and make themselves look like a cat or whatever. She's human. She has no magical powers. And she is kind of the butt of the joke all the time with the cruel prince, who is Prince Carden, and she doesn't like him at all. For so many reasons. They do end up coming to blows a little bit, but she still has to find a way to save Fairy and her sisters. So it is a great book, lots of action, lots of adventure, and I suggest that you add it to your reading list. Thanks.
Hi, Other Michelle here, and I'm here to talk to you about a book called A Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tahira Mafi. This book takes place in 2002, which is a year after 9/11. It's about a 16-year-old girl, and her name is Shirin, and she's a Muslim. She attends just like a regular high school, but because she wears a hijab, she often gets rude stares and disparaging comments, and sometimes it even gets a little violent. And again, all because she just wears a hijab. So as a result of this, she's kind of put up barriers and doesn't really let people get to know her. Well, that is until she meets a boy named Ocean. Da da da. Okay, I'm not going to tell you anymore, but it is a great book. I loved it because it is just a typical high school, and they're all just typical teenagers, but when you put in that little bit of that, yeah, anyway, you'll really like it. Read it.
Hey, here to tell you about another book. This one is called Dear Evan Hansen by Stephen Levinson. It's actually adapted from a Broadway show, which is pretty cool. It's about a boy named Evan Hansen, and he is sent a letter that he never should have received, and it's given him something that he's never had before, which is belonging to a crowd. So he kind of goes along with this lie, and he learns that a simple lie leads to complicated truths. So it's a good story of coming of age, and there's grief and authenticity, and the struggle to belong in a time when instant connectivity and all that is right at your fingertips. So it's a pretty good story. Yeah, you'll enjoy.
Hi, the book I wanted to share with you today is called Children of Bone and Blood. It's by Tomi Adeyemi. This is the first volume of a projected trilogy. Orisha was once the kingdom of magic. Magi, like Zayle's mother, could raise the dead, control elements from fires to tides. Then one night, all the magic was gone. The Magi were brutally murdered by a ruthless king. Zayle, not only mourning the loss of her mother, but the birthright of magic is now lost to her. A chance encounter with a rebel princess sends her on a dangerous journey and will give her the chance to restore magic. But how high will the cost be? You'll have to read it to find out. What I loved about this book was that it was full of magic, family betrayals, power struggles, and an epic new world of magic to explore and enjoy. It has a strong undercurrent of racial tensions, genocide, prejudice, and inequalities. It makes you re-examine the world around you. I can't wait to read the second book. How about you?
So the next book I'm going to talk to you about is Dry by Neil Shusterman. So if you think the pandemic is tough, try to imagine if you ran out of water. This is a story about a part of Southern California where the drought escalates to the point that there is no water at all. So no showers, no coffee, no drinking water. It is the tap out. In this book, we follow 3 teenagers through panic, life and death, and survival as they navigate through this disaster. Don't take water for granted, but definitely read this book.